Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Favi, and welcome back to Arrows DIY. Today I have some vintage, everyday home decor DIY projects, so I hope that you enjoy this video. For our first project, we're going to be using this tier tray. I've had it for some time in my stash. I actually got it for free off Craigslist, and I'm going to go ahead and redo it today. I love the rusty goodness on here. I love all that chippy goodness. It truly brings me joy. But I'm going to go ahead and give it a different look today. My husband does not like distressed anything, so he's been telling me to paint it for some time, and today is the day. So as you can see here, I'm just going to wipe it off, get all that dust and grime and whatever dirt was on there off of there, just to prepare it for paint. So I'm pretty sure some of that cleaning solution that I make, it's a Castile water just solution I make at home to clean. I'm pretty sure it seeped underneath the hardware there. So I'm just going to go ahead and take it apart to clean it up real good and get some of that grime out of the middle portion. And I tried to pull off this middle portion here and I couldn't. And I could have asked my husband, but I was like, no, girl power, I got this. And guys, turns out that's how far the girl power got me. But it's okay. We're going to go in with this paint in the color Victorian Lace. It's by Fusion, which is a 2-in-1 paint. So it's a paint and primer in one. I do not have to seal this, so that saves me some time. And we like that around here. So as you can see here, I'm just going to paint it with my chalk brush all around, and I give it 3 thin coats. Now the middle portion here I couldn't take off. I'm just going to carefully go around there, paint it, and I do wipe off that paint while it's still wet. I always find it easier to clean paint while it's still wet, so I went ahead and I did that. And then once it's all nice and painted, we're going to go in with this decoupage paper by Royce decoupage paper. I'll link her website below if you want to pick up some of her beautiful decoupage paper designs. So this one here specifically is called Clock Faces, and I'm obsessed. And I got this from the Sonnet maker box. It's a monthly subscription box. I'm not going to get every single month. It's kind of pricey, but I have splurged for the past 2 months. So I want to use one of these beautiful clock faces. So I put the largest of the tier tray underneath the clock face to make sure that it fits perfectly. And it does. So I'm going to go in and just cut it carefully. It's not very simple to cut this out because it kind of has a shadow around it as opposed to like an actual defined line. So I don't know. Does it make it difficult? Does it make it more easy? I'm not sure. But I take my time and just try to keep that curve on there. Since it's a white background on here, you are going to see it. As you can see, I did distress the plate off camera. I took some sandpaper to the edges to kind of bring that silver through, and I love that effect. So my husband doesn't, but I do. So I'm going to go ahead and add a thin layer of my decoupage medium. The decoupage medium I'm using today is Mod Podge Multi, which I like. It's more liquidy, easier to work with. However, you do have to mix it up real good before you use it. So as you can see here, I tried to center the clock face and my OCD was kicking in. So I peeled it off and I just kind of put it on as centered as I could. The thing is, since I'm filming, I can't put my head in the way, and that kind of makes it kind of tricky to kind of center it. But it's very simple to do, I promise. Now I'm going to go ahead and seal the decoupage paper on top once I got all the wrinkles and stuff out. But honestly, I prefer putting the decoupage medium on top after it's fully dry at the bottom, because I do feel that sometimes when you add the decoupage medium on top, it kind of tugs, it pulls on the paper and causes some wrinkles. So that's just my personal opinion. Of course, do whatever makes you happy. You could go ahead and add whatever tips and tricks you have for decoupage in the comments below. I know about the sandpaper, the saran paper technique as well, but I don't have saran paper in my house. So I just decided to use this plastic bag to kind of smooth out the edges, because I did find that some of the edges were lifting. So I did use the plastic to kind of press those down. And that's how it's going to stay until it dries. When it's fully dry, I'm going to go ahead and do this to all the other tiers in my tier tray. So for the smallest one, my daughter picked out this design. I'm gonna cut it out off camera. I just wanted to show you that it has these little details, kind of like these little spokey things. And I wanted to keep those in the design as well. So it took some time and I did it at my leisure off camera. And then I decoupaged it just as before. So now I have this IOD transfer pack. It's called Brocon and it has the most beautiful designs on there. And I remembered that I had this clock pattern and I thought that this would be a perfect project. I don't want all of the layers on my tier tray to be so busy. So this was a good option to kind of give a subtle touch to one of the layers on the tier tray. So to make it fit, I just had to cut out a little hole in the middle of it because I couldn't get that little spoke out of the middle part. And to help it not wobble back and forth, I put the stand back on there. That way it's nice and stable so that I can do the scratching on the transfer. So I just carefully took off the film on the back and then centered it to the best of my ability. And then I pressed it down to secure it. Now I'm gonna hold it with one hand as I scrape the design onto my surface. With the other hand, I'm using a craft stick. You can use anything. It also has a little scraper that comes in the pack when you actually order the transfer pack, but I couldn't find it. So I'm just using a craft stick. You can use a credit card. You can use anything really. But I'm just gonna go ahead and rub different spots all over. And I just try to focus my attention on the clear film. As long as that clear film is coming up clear, I know that the transfer has fully transferred on my piece. And once I'm sure that all of it is transferred on, I'm gonna take the clear film and I'm gonna just burnish the entire face of the transfer onto my surface. If you find that one of the pieces don't transfer properly, you just want to put it right back down, line it up to your design, and scrape some more. And that should work. These transfers are really easy to use, so I really recommend it. I love using them. They're so simple to just upcycle any decor piece in your home in under 5 minutes. Now, since this is a tier tray, it's going to get a lot of wear and tear. I did decide to seal it with a wax. The wax that I like to use is by Waverly Clear Wax, but of course, use whatever wax you prefer. I'm gonna go ahead and just use a dry wipey, lint-free wipey, and I'm just gonna go ahead and really rub it into the surface. I also do the same thing on the other layers of the tier tray because it is sealed with Mod Podge, but I like the softness that the wax adds. So I just like the same finish on all of the tiers of our tier tray, and that's what I'm doing here. And I really buff it out. Like, you really want to work in that wax so that it doesn't show any lines or anything. It kind of disappears and gives it like a buttery texture. Anyways, I love it. So now once they're all done, I'm gonna go ahead and just build the tier tray back up. And I did keep the bottom of the tier tray tarnished. Like, I love that chippy goodness at the bottom of the tray. So this way my husband gets what he wants, but I also kind of get what I want because it still has that chippiness on the handle as well as all the other parts of the stand. I love it so much, guys. But let me know what you think about this one. I'm really happy with this one for everyday decor in the vintage style. Now for this next project, I got this gift box. My aunt gave it to me because she cleans a lot of homes. That's her job. She loves it. And whenever she goes to somebody's house, a lot of times they give her things. And she saw this box and she said, I know you can do something with this. And she's right. So thank you so much, Thea, for always keeping me in mind. I love you so much. I'm going to go ahead and just decoupage this beautiful clock face to the top of this box. Now you could paint the box white if you want it to be a very vibrant design, but I wanted it to kind of blend into the background there. So I am just going to decoupage it right on. I added a thin layer of the decoupage medium, which I'm using once again, the Mod Podge Multi. And once I flattened it on like so, I'm just going to decoupage on top. Very simple, but a beautiful transformation. Now I am going to wait for this to dry completely. And once it's fully dry the next day, this is how it looks. As you can see, it's fully see-through. You cannot see any of that Mod Podge once it's nice and dry, but it's protected. Now I wanted to add a cute handle. Now this one here is for my perfume. It's an option. It's a fun option. My perfume is Daisy, so I have that topper there. But I decided to add a little bit more subtle, something more subtle in the vintage style. So I'm going to take my screwdriver and kind of make a hole in the center. Then I'm going to take a bamboo stick and really make the hole with a sharp point on there. And then I'm going to put the screwdriver back in and kind of make that hole a little bit bigger by rotating it. And I'm going to take a screw and some knob that I have in my home, and I'm just going to screw it in place. And it's just going to make a nice decorative box. Now this box seems like it was a floral arrangement of some sort, and I did not take the floral foam out of there because I figured I could probably use the box for Christmas decor. I think it would look nice if I put a whole bunch of little bottle brush trees inside of here. And now I'm going to go ahead and just add some velvet ribbon I had in my stash from Michaels. And then I added some vintage lace from BB Craft. But let me know what you think about this one. So quick, so easy, but it's definitely a great way to upcycle a box. Now for this next project, I'm going to use some milk paint for the first time ever. This is by Sweet Pickins, and it's from the Maker's Box. And I'm going to go ahead and just mix equal parts of water and some of this milk paint powder. And I'm just going to mix it with this whisk. And we're going to mix it up until there's no solids in there. And I'm just going to let it sit on the side to kind of thicken up because it's very, very thin. Sonnet at Sonnet's Garden Blooms, who makes the subscription box called the Maker's Box, she lets it sit for 10 minutes and she's happy with that. But it was just so liquidy for me. I couldn't use it in that stage. Some people say to add more powder. Let me know what you do if you have ever tried milk paint. But I wasn't happy with it, so I actually let it sit for almost the maximum amount of time. Milk paint has to be thrown out, they say, after 24 hours. So I waited almost the full 24 hours. This is at hour 23, guys. This is at hour 23, and it was a little thicker. I actually liked it this way, and that's when I painted it. So this is why it doesn't look so thin. It definitely got a lot thicker, and now I'm just using my heat gun to cause some cracks in it, but you don't want to get too close because as you can see there, it'll bubble up. So another thing, when you're using milk paint, you want to make sure that the first layer of paint that you add on before you put the milk paint is a sealed paint. So I ended up using the fusion paint in the color Victorian Lace first, and once that was fully dry, then I put the milk paint. So as you can see there are some faint cracks, but you can't tell on screen. In person, you can definitely tell they're most delicate cracks. Very beautiful. I would definitely use milk paint again. I'm happy with it. So now I take this decoupage paper and I cut it down to size. This decoupage paper is called Tapestry. It's also by Royce decoupage paper. And I'm just going to add a thin layer of this Mod Podge multi to the surface. And I'm going to try my best to avoid those slats on the side because I do not want those to have decoupage paper on them. So I'm only focusing the decoupage medium on the square part of the box. And I'm going to use my Mod Podge brush for that because it just has that sharp flat edge and it makes it so easy to put Mod Podge exactly where you want it. So as you can see there, I pressed down the edge of the paper and now I'm going in with my brayer. This is also by Mod Podge, by Plaid. So I will link all these things in the description box below, and you actually get a discount if you use my discount code FAVI123 on the Plaid online website. So you could get discounts on all the items you see me using, the Mod Podge brushes. Anyways, I digress. As you can see here, I want to cut off those edges there because I really don't want the decoupage medium on there. So I'm just creasing the parts of the paper that I'm going to cut off once this decoupage medium is fully dry. As you can see there, you want to be careful because I tore my paper once again, but you know that I love rustic vintage decor. So I was totally okay with a little bit of rip. It's just gonna add more character to my piece, right? That's what we call it, character. And really, you want to be easy on yourself. You don't want to be so hard on perfection. Just have some fun with your projects. Make them unique, flaws and all. Just learn to love it. Okay, so now I'm gonna add the decoupage paper onto the other side, avoiding those slats, those white parts, the ends of the slat, the edges of the slats. I don't want the decoupage paper on there. All right, so this is later on, once the decoupage paper is fully dry. I'm going to go in with a little bit of sandpaper from Dollar Tree, and I fold it over to make it more sturdy, but it's still bendable, so it's able to take the shapes. Now for the corners there, I do fold it over one more time, and that helps me get a nice clean edge. And I'm just going to rub it on all the edges to get all that excess paper off of there. Fairly easy to do. It's very satisfying as well to get that nice crisp edge on there. So as you can see here, I'm just going to put the sandpaper on the edges. Very simple to do. But if you're new around here, I'd like to welcome you. My name is Fabi. I'm a busy mother of 6. I forgot for a second. So many children. I feel like I'm always doing a head count. So it's a perpetual counting of heads all day over here. But anyways, I love doing DIYs on my spare time. So please subscribe if you want to see more of what I make in this house. I have a very eclectic style. I love farmhouse, shabby chic. I love fun decor. So yeah, join us. Say hello in the comments. I love to hear from you as well. So as you can see here, I'm using my X-Acto knife now, and I'm folding back those little decoupage pieces. And if I have some trouble, I just use this the little tip on my X-Acto knife to lift it up, and then we're just going to cut a nice straight line. If you have trouble cutting a straight line, you can definitely use a ruler as a guide to get you a nice straight line on the edges there. And we're just going to cut off those edges. Now, if you don't make a straight line, just make another line. Just cut another line right next to it, and then we're going to seal all the edges with decoupage medium one more time to make sure they're nice and secure on the piece. At Walmart, on the clearance section at Walmart, I found these Better Home and Gardens poles. They were only $1, and they're really good hardware. So I'm going to add that to the little crate because I feel like chunky hardware is so cute on little pieces of decor. So here I am. I'm going to remove it from there, and I'm actually going to use these little, see the little screws there? That's what I used for our decorative box in the last DIY. It was the perfect length. So don't throw any screws away, guys. You can use anything. And that's how we do DIYs on a budget. Hold on to the stuff, you know, organize it properly so you can actually find it when you need it. That's a big problem around here. I do really well at hiding all the stuff, and then I can't find it when I need it. Anyways, squirrel, let's get back to the topic here. We're adding these hardware handles, these knobs to the side, these pulls to the side of the board. Now, I had every intention to screw them in, guys. I had every intention. So here I am marking off the area where I'm going to have to drill. But then the baby fell asleep, and I said, I don't think it's worth waking him up. So I'm just going to use hot glue. And since the decoupage medium is dry, it should work just fine. I mean, I'm not going to be lifting it by these pulls. So these are purely decorative. It's going to be totally fine. If you want something more secure, you can use E6000. You could use Type Bond, epoxy glue, whatever you like. But I'm just using Gorilla Hot Glue, which in a high temperature setting is a really good bond. And if you want to remove it later, you can. Just pull it really hard. But the decoupage medium actually doesn't bond to the hot glue, so you can pull it off later. If I do end up selling this piece in the future, I will definitely add screws. I will never sell a piece with just hot glue handles. Keep that in mind. I'm not that crazy, y'all. That's subjective, of course. Okay, So here I am. I took some black paint and flat brush, and I'm just distressing the edges because I feel like I want to bring some more of that black from the handles to the rest of the piece. That way it's kind of more cohesive. And I only went around the edges of those slats on the sides and the top part on top of the handles. I sort of forgot about that one. But this is going to give it a artistic finish, and it's going to help everything look more cohesive since that black is carried through the whole piece. And I just love adding black and white decor with a pattern. It always looks good year round. Anyways, let me know what you think about this one. This is how it turned out. I love it. I'm going to style it all year. All year decor is going to be great. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. I appreciate every single one of you stopping by to watch my video. It means the world to me. Leave me a comment below. Let me know which one was your favorite. You can share this out to yourself or to your friends, whoever you like. And guys, thank you so much for watching. Take care. God bless. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye. If you like this video, you might also like this one.